afternoon, Jocelyn.
Hi, good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today at the Insurance Collective with Ada and myself, Kumaran. So we are so happy to have you on board. We have been speaking for almost a few months now
Mm-hmm.
on your representation as well as Just Go Live, which is a great thing that we wanted to introduce to the Insurance Collective community of financial advisors and agency leaders. So today is going to be the hashtag Play Wednesday, sorry. And the key part here with the Play Wednesday is where we bring in the ecosystem, supporting partners and vendors from the Insurance Collective ecosystem that will then look at how agency leaders and financial consultants can move into avenues such as branding, leads, events, sales amplifiers, and other activities to support their insurance business. Right. So today, Jocelyn, we're going to talk about branding. And you are the best person for us to speak to. So without much further ado, could you introduce yourself, Jocelyn, and what you do?
Okay, hi everyone who is watching. I'm Jocelyn, and I'm a visibility strategist and also co-founder of Just Go Visible. So, like just now, Kumaran mentioned Just Go Live. Just Go Live was what we started with a very niche pillar that focuses on enabling and empowering companies or even experts with the use of live video. And then along the way, with client demand going on, we actually grow into helping them with a lot more than just live video, because live video, we realize that it helps people to get seen a lot, but at the same time you need other areas digitally to support. So we also started doing marketing videos, branding videos for the clients that we work with, even to the point of social media management. So now we are rebranded to Just Go Visible, and Just Go Live is going to be one of the pillars under Just Go Visible. So
Okay.
as a visibility strategist and also co-founder of Just Go Visible, what we do is, I would say, something different in the market. Like, we're not just a production house that does video productions for people only. We actually work with clients on visibility strategy. So, and we are not limiting our help to companies or even self-employed professionals on just doing the production for them. We are also happy to enable companies or individuals to be able to DIY certain content that they can put out there. So we also do coaching and training as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Thanks, Jocelyn. So we are talking today about the branding perspectives for financial consultants and agency leaders.
Mm.
Now, that is very, very different compared to branding for other companies or other industries, more or less, right? Here we are talking about the client connect, how they can represent themselves in a manner that best suits them. So we spoke earlier on in one of our conversations that there are different segments of financial consultants. We have the rookies who are new into the business and they're looking at a way to get more exposure, to reach out to their potential clients or their target segment of clients. And the other segment of financial consultants we spoke about were the mavericks and the legends, those who have been in the business for 5 years, 10 years, and so on, where their main focus or component of branding would be on anchoring their existing clientele base and looking at upsell and cross-sell opportunities. How do they connect with their current client base as well as client acquisition? Then we have the last bit, who are the pioneers, those industry legends, 20 years, 25 years, and mainly they are agency leaders who require a branding perspective from an agency level. So in your viewpoint, with these different spectrums here, how do these financial consultants and agency leaders embark on the first part of their branding strategy?
Well, the needs are very different for, even I would say, even the age group, right? So likely the rookies are, I don't know, mid-20s, around there, right? Or still some are a little older because it's a career switch. And then we have the mavericks, will probably 5 to 10 years in the industry. They're in their 30s, right? And another stage of life. And then we have the agency leaders who are more likely what we know as in marketing segment of the Generation X. Right, or even the baby boomer generation. So everyone started their business at a very different point. I would say for like the rookies, you grow up in a digital era, right? Like for me, I fall under, I'm probably in the same age group as maybe more of the mavericks, right? We didn't really have computers until we are in like maybe secondary school. right? But but our rookies, you grow up with a computer, you probably don't even know what is DOS. But yeah, so I would say everyone started on a different starting point. So I would say, like, if you're a rookie, being digital, sharing things online is probably very natural to you already. Like, it's nothing, you are not so worried about like, oh, will people judge me, or will people think like, invade my privacy. You don't really see it as an invasion of privacy. It's very normal to share
Right.
information. So if you're new to the industry, I think firstly, because I do have a few friends now. I mean, they're much younger than me, but they're also new to the industry. And I think what is really important is, firstly, you'll have to let people know what you're doing. Like, what is your career now? Right? Be it if you're a fresh grad who chose to go into this industry, or you left employment to go into this industry, how do you, if you're a previously employed person, right? How do you tie back your previous work experience with your current expertise of financial planning or advisory? So that could be a unique point for yourself. So you need to think of that. That's one way I think new people can make themselves stand out. Um, and another tip that I like to share with financial advisors when I coach or train them is, it is not about always talking about your work. You let people know what you do for a living, yes. So people know, yes, okay, you have this level of knowledge and expertise. However, you don't always need to connect to people only through your content on financial
Yeah,
advisory,
that's right.
right?
That's right.
If
Yeah.
you like sports, like I met a few, oh, it's like, wow, it's a six pack, six pack and into fitness. I say, hey, then fitness is your entry point to people, right? To that people will connect with you, because the fitness people, and likely you guys, this group of people have your own unique needs, lifestyle needs, as of pertaining to insurance policies or financial planning as well. So then that can be a niche area that for you to target. And it doesn't always have to be about talking about financial advisory. You can always relate it back to your fitness, or let people know that you value a healthy lifestyle.
Hmm.
And of course, that will always relate back to your financial planning as well. So this is one example. So I think firstly, like, don't box in what you think you can talk about, even though it's a personal branding effort,
Hmm.
right? It is not just about work. Life is more than work, and a lot of time people resonate with things outside of work, actually.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I think, Ada, I think that's one of the key things we discussed, right?
Yeah.
When it came to branding, it's not just to focus on the professional pillar,
Yes.
but also on your personal life, your personal journey. What tickles you? What tickles your fancy? Or what excites you? What gets you into the mood to get into the how and why you do things? I think that's very important. And even some people get into the spiritual connect with spiritual aspects of things, right?
Yes.
What does motivate them or move forward? I guess creating such kind of a narrative, Jocelyn, is also important. And you rightfully put, it's not just a professional representation of yourself. So another key question here, Jocelyn, is as we move into this period of time, we are back into unpredictable and unprecedented times back again. And it's very similar to the representation of last year, right? And in establishing the insurance collective, we also came to realize that there were tons of branding companies out there who were working with financial consultants, but I think they were missing a very interesting point, which is being insurance centric and focused towards how an advisor would think or how an advisor would want to be represented. Now, when we look at how we are going to create a branding strategy, perhaps through videos or perhaps through content collaboration. Now, what has changed, Jocelyn, from last year to this year?
I think when circuit breaker first happened,
Mhm.
I think people are generally a lot more prepared now, for sure, a lot more calmer. Uh, However, I think one key difference I noticed is, when circuit breaker happened, okay, it took everyone maybe about 1-2 months to pivot, right, and to start. I think a lot of the self-employed professionals that I see in my network, so be it financial advisors or even the real estate agents, right? Okay, they started like, hey, we can't even go out. So it was back then. They can't even go out. They totally cannot meet clients in person. So it was pretty much a situation of no choice. You better show up online. It's like, if you don't show up
You
online,
like it
that's
or
it.
not, you just have to appear.
Yeah, there's not much of an offline option already at that point in time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think then after that, of course, when we moved into phase 3, I think we had the luxury of choice
Mhm.
already.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I also saw that so back then people were scrambling, people were pushing themselves harder, I would say, to put up more interesting content online, so that they don't lose out to those who are doing it. So be it, I see it especially more for like Facebook Live,
Yeah.
right? We saw an influx of creators putting up Facebook Live. We also see an influx of viewers like as well. So I think that in terms of the consumer market, that created a very good opportunity for us because that totally changed how consumers behave already.
Hmm.
Right. People are more willing to even purchase high ticket items right now just through a live video.
Right.
As
Right.
compared to previously, it was just very cheap commodities kind of products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
but people are now selling 3-figure, 4-figure kind of
Yeah.
even non-tangible products, right? There are a lot of
Yes.
them are courses. Yeah. And then after that, when phase 3 opened, I think everyone sort of like, yay, we go back to offline. No, so everyone like relax the online.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right, relax on the online. I see a lot more people just using online to celebrate their achievements because I guess there is also an influx in business when face to face could resume.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that helps in the branding as well, just that people don't really appear much in video or live video because they're out a lot more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. And so I just want to anchor on one point that you mentioned earlier. People are amplifying their achievements, right? As a brand consultant, a person who creates these, right? In
Mm.
your viewpoint, would that be a very strong anchor point for them to work on when they create such videos about themselves, or is it just a part of it?
When it comes to videos, I think for a done professional video production,
Hmm.
I think it's good to have one or two more impactful success stories to share about.
Right.
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 But they should come across as a story
Mm.
and showcase how your values as a service provider has managed to shine through
Hmm.
in that story. So for example, if we work with an advisor, I mean they might have a lot of stories. I two things I noticed about people. Number one, you basically maybe you do not even realize you have all these stories opportunity in your life.
Right.
Mm.
That's the one key thing I always notice when I work with my clients. When they tell me things, I'm like, hey, do you know actually there's a wonderful story that we should talk about, but they never realize that. That's one. And then there'll be another group of people, they have so much stories, but you don't know which one, right? Which one will
Yeah.
work best to bring out, the message that you want in your video. So I think it's either or. So these are the usually the cases that we'll find out more from the client, and then we'll work on that. And of course it has to be crafted very strategically into the storyboard of the video or the script of the video. Yeah. So I think to talk about achievements, regardless of the content type that you are putting out, like it could be text, it could be photos, it could be a short video done by yourself. The key thing is to tell it as a story,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the focus is on the client that you served, the person that you helped,
Right. Right.
rather than me. Like, oh, I helped them because I'm so good at this.
That's right.
I mean, not so directly. So that's why it has to come out as a story. This person
Yeah.
had this problem. What strategies did I deploy to help them? And what did it result in? Of course, the positive consequence. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yes.
guess people relate better to stories also, right?
That's true. There is a continuity, right, Ada?
Yes.
If we talk about the journey of a financial consultant, I mean, we would a consultant goes through so many different ups and downs.
Mm.
Mm,
So they might have wonderful experiences where they would have helped a client through his retirement phase, or
mm,
education funding for a client's kids, and then over the years you see the kid actually graduate from university.
Yeah.
Or they might
mm.
be in a position where they actually sold the first education policy to the parent, and now the child is already like 21 or 22 years old. For those who are longer in the business, right? That
Yeah.
wonderful stories that come into play. And then you also have on the other hand, where you have death claims or critical illness claims that they had to serve. These are all part of a process where it is a very bittersweet moment in an advisor's life.
Mm.
And these, I feel, if are captured in a proper sequence, which delivers in spectrum the way a financial consultant is, or how he or she operates, the challenges that he or she faces, is very critical. Very critical in the representation of the story. Why I say this is many consultants work long stretches at the end. They start really early in the morning, they end super late at night. And in between that, there are the servicings that they have to do for their clients. Then there are the claims that they have to handle. And all in it, they have to juggle in new opportunities, new sales, appointments, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I guess a very unique representation would be a day in the life of a consultant, right? Which goes through so many different highs and lows, right from the morning right till the end of the day, and from the next day it's back to zero again. It's a square one game. So Jocelyn, how do you think, and Ada, I'll put this question to both of you. I mean, Ada, of course, our brand executive for Insurance Collective, how would you both, and maybe I put this question out to Ada first, on how you could get a storyboard, oops, sorry guys, a storyboard ready, right, for such a situation? What would your perspective be, Ada? And then Jocelyn, yours as well. How can we just frame something up in like a 30-second clip?
I think to get a storyboard out is we really need to sit down with the person first. And first of all, we need to know who are their target audience. From that target audience, right, then we will know, okay, what is the suitable content to put out. And then they will tell us their story, and then we will usually we will just create the best part of that story to put out into that video, because it's going to be like 30 seconds or even a minute. So you just really need that kind of boost information in that video to capture this audience, their focus onto that video, especially like we're gonna let them be focused in the video for let's say throughout the video span, then that will be great. So yeah, so that is how I would plan the storyboard. How about you, Jocelyn?
Yeah, I think definitely the first step is the same. We definitely need to find out a lot more from
Yeah.
Yes,
the
I
client.
agree.
So here's the thing, because so I'm usually the one producing, and I will have my crew, of course, for the videography and the editing as well. For stories that I resonate strongly with, I sometimes do the editing myself, right? Because I have a very specific vision that I have for the end product. But in context of a 30-second video, meaning it's very short.
Yes.
And yet, if you are in the subject of, like you say, the topic of a day in the life of a financial consultant. So the broader the topic is and the shorter the video is, the more strategic the scripting
Yes.
needs to get.
Right.
Because you need to deliver something very impactful in a very short
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
my strategy for such video is we always need to go in with a specific script,
Yes.
Mhm.
because we do not have luxury of time like an interview kind of video where the person can answer free flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for us to concise things into 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds is probably about 50, 60 words. It's not a lot.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually quite tedious though,
Realize
but it's
how
workable.
short it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We can go up to a minute, which is
Yeah.
fine. Actually,
Yes.
Facebook favors videos above 3 minutes. But then again, it depends what is the context, what is the mood we want to pull off. If it's humorous, right, 30 seconds, you can do something very funny also.
I
Yeah.
was going to get on the part of comedy, Jocelyn.
Yeah. It can be a very, because 30 seconds, you can do it in the form of a skit. It doesn't really have to be
Yes.
footage from real
Yeah,
life,
that's right.
right? Because it's going to be 30 seconds. You want to make it funny, and yet there's truth in it.
Yes.
And it entertains, so people will want to watch. So humor is
Definitely.
one angle. Of course, it has to match the personality of the subject, lah. Right. Yeah, it's like what Ada said. You need to find out a lot first, and then we will strategically, for me, I will strategically script it into a very concise script that will fit the time duration of the video.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't forget the target audience, because at the end, how we script it, we also want it to connect with the target audience as well.
Exactly.
And the call to action at the end also should make sense to the more specific target audience.
Yeah, I think right now, right, there's a lot of content out there, and people get confused on um like how should I even get started. That simple thing. Like, yeah, I know that I need to do videos. I need to be out there, but I mean, yeah, I hear from this, I hear from that, I see this, I see that. I mean, like you said, this phase, everybody is actually quite prepared for, to do what's needed for the business. But how, why, and like, what exactly should I do now? Like now, right now, what, Yeah. So what would you advise them?
I think a lot of the time, I could be the education system we are brought up in, very logical, we expect things to be very logical, very methodological, right? So things, structure, frameworks, these are things that Singaporeans love.
Yeah.
If you
Without
ask
that,
them
I
to
think
be,
it's like everywhere.
yeah, you ask them to be a bit abstract, it's like a bit okay. But the thing is, right now, video content needs to somehow touch people emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I say emotion, it doesn't mean it's always sad lah, painful, or must cry. No, no, no. Laughter, humor, those are also emotions. Anger is also an emotion,
Yes.
right? So firstly, I think one of the objective I also place when I want to prepare a script is what is the emotion you want to trigger, and we are going to identify that one or two emotions that you want to trigger in the video only, because you don't expect your message to trigger so many emotions. Like it should be just one or two key emotions. So that's one. So all these thing goes in the mood, the the tempo, the script. But how to get started? I think when people tend to overthink sometimes, if you think that talking 1 minute to the video is like very long, so you think, hey, well, I need to talk a lot of things. Actually, no, even one key point you can talk for 20 minutes. If you really know your stuff,
That's true.
you
Yes.
give enough examples.
Yes.
You just need one key point, three sub pointers, and three stories to support these sub pointers. You can talk for 20, 30 minutes, I can tell you.
Yes.
Especially if it's a real story of a client you had. Right?
Yep.
So the story is just to illustrate the sub pointers, right? Of the tips that maybe you want to share with people. So it's always just spin off from one key point. So there's really no need to cover too many things in one piece of video content or even written content. Yeah, it's just one main thing, and then you branch the smaller supporting pillars only.
I agree with you, Jocelyn, and it just suddenly crossed my mind, right? What is a start point? I think a start point is something like this, a dialogue. And that way you elicit a lot of data from the consultant or the agency leaders of what really evokes their emotions. And I think that point will be very constructive enough. They will be surprised, and we all will be surprised. They can go on for a few hours.
You know what's interesting?
Minutes, yeah.
But as part of my process with my clients, I always make them fill up a questionnaire first.
Right. Yeah.
I call it the business questionnaire. And you know what's the interesting part? A lot of them, they say, okay. When I ask them, oh, is it done? Oh, I'm still thinking, because actually these are tough questions. I've never thought of them before.
Wow.
Actually, these are questions like, what's your objective? Who's your target audience? It's very marketing 101 questions, I think, to us. Yeah, but some people who are in business or self-employed, they never really maybe sat down to really think about it. Yeah. So and this questionnaire became a clarity process for them.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So when we finally meet and I have the questionnaire in my hand, I can start to ask deeper questions from there. Instead of, taking the time during the dialogue to just talk about very surface stuff, or they have to sit there for 20 minutes to think about one question. So they would have gone through certain level of thought process when they are filling out the questionnaire for me. Yeah. So that's part of my process, especially when I need to craft a video for a client.
I think the advisors and leaders will resonate with this, Joycelyn, because it's very much like the fact-finding process in the financial planning process, right? The first part, getting data, information, for example, what are your assets, liabilities, what are the insurance policies do you have? It's that same process that comes in play for them to get the end product. Now, if we are looking at moving forward, Joycelyn, how do you think this direction is with these digital representations, whether it's branding, or with the different channels that the advisors and leaders have to connect with their clients or connect with their prospects, where do you think the direction will be in the next 6 months at least?
I think if you really want to stand out in competition, like people think, let's talk about the context of video. People think, okay, everyone knows now, video is the in thing, is the trend now and going forward. But yet, if you think it's red ocean, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people are still not doing it. And I think especially in the financial industry, because people have certain mental limitations due to the advertising guidelines, I would say.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And yet we see people doing, but they are still the minority, right?
That's right.
But
Yeah.
this minority has proven to us that, hey, it can be done.
Yes.
It definitely can be done. So right now, I think for financial industry especially, it is still very, very blue ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So it is a great time for financial advisors, be it at whatever stage, to stand out from your competition with video content, right? So just now I talked a little bit for the rookies, for the mavericks. I think now maybe I can share an example of the agency leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So I think agency leaders are at the stage of recruiting, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Recruiting. And recruitment, definitely you want to bring in your quality advisors, right? Advisors who fit your culture of your agency and who fit, who has the same values or maybe motivations as the leaders, right? So what's the best way for people to attract the right type of people to you? So there's always the saying, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
I think it's very true because when in a recruitment process, people put ads, right? But your ads are always usually factual. You can't really convey much. And for us, maybe normally as the candidate, we also never see the boss. I also don't know who is the hiring manager. I can only just put my resume in, right? So HR ends up having to go through hundreds and hundreds of unsuitable resumes. And then as the manager, they also need me like 20 people and maybe 18 of them also don't fit because the vibe just doesn't fit.
And don't forget people who don't show up. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So this is the problem because people cannot see your vibe, so you cannot attract the right people.
That's true.
Exactly.
I agree.
The best way for people to sense you as a person is really through video.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that I think is an awesome qualifying and filtering process. Same for
Yes.
clients, same for recruiting. Yeah, you want to attract the right people to work with you, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you, completely with you on that, Joyce.
I agree.
With the context of how recruitment is these days, right? I think it's a very one-dimensional representation, and agency leaders invest a lot of time and money and effort into this process here. That is again the lifeblood of this business, recruitment, right? Now, I just had a thought on how this can be then reversed, right? What if we had a Dragon's Den style of recruitment?
What style?
Dragon's Den. So, it's a pitch, right? The advisor or the leaders have to pitch themselves, where that's exactly how you spoke about. When you track your tribe in a way and fashion that best suits the entire agency and how it's represented. Now, on the reverse, it would be also great, right? If we had the potential advisors also send videos about themselves. It would be a great way for the leaders to sort of connect with the advisors as well. And it becomes a very personal relationship. The moment it starts off with us identifying who this individual is through a video, I think that connect is great. I think that is something which might change in the future for us in terms of whether it's a company representation or whether it's an agency representation. Such style of recruitment should be the way to go, I think.
Yeah. But I think right now, of course, if I guess for candidates it'll be more DIY kind of video. So especially if an agency that is more maybe it's a younger agency or an agency with a more modern and forward-looking vision, you do want to attract potential candidates who are willing to put their face out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Because recently I spoke to an agency leader. He really sees the value of even enabling, helping the team with video content. But the challenge he faces is quite a number of them are very shy.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Like
right.
they are camera shy to put themselves out there. So then that will be, a more uphill task. But right, let's say right now there's an agency looking to bring in more outgoing candidates.
Mhm.
This process of, hey, send in your video, or even put it out there, hashtag tag us, that will really filter out those people who are not willing to do it already. And you don't have to waste your time talking to such candidates who are going to write into you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it also helps in the filtration process of who is going to connect with you for the
Yeah.
interviews. Well, that's great, Jocelyn. I think we had such an amazing session with you.
Yep.
We're indeed looking forward to working with you and the Insurance Collective and Just Go Visible right now, which I
Mhm.
think it's a great representation. I really thank the time we have shared with you. We have had many conversations about this in depth about how branding representation is for the insurance industry. And if you would just give us a key takeaway now, Jocelyn, if you would just put out one line to the consultants and agency leaders, what would it be? A key takeaway.
Whatever idea you have in your head that really scares you, that's the one you should do. I'm sure people have lots of content
We'll be
ideas.
like,
They're
oh,
just held back by fear. Yeah. And the one that scares you most likely, or feels most scary, is likely the one that will give you the breakthrough that you're looking for.
You on that. That is
yep,
the
I agree too.
Absolutely. So on that note, Jocelyn, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much,
Love the
Jocelyn.
conversation with you. And we will connect soon for more sessions with our financial consultants. So as we end off our hashtag Play Wednesday, Jocelyn Go from Just Go Visible. Thank you for your time again. And we shall connect soon for more Play Wednesday titles and topics. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.